So let's talk about a crappy manager. When I first started working my job back in November, this person was actually not yet a manager. He was just a regular old person that was there. And around the same time, there was a guy I used to really like. He left the job within the past couple of weeks, but he told me that he specifically singled this guy out as one of the people that he did not get along with, did not like, etc. And I didn't think much of him until he became a manager at some point in the last 6 or 7 months. Um, One of the things that he likes to do is only speak to me, and this isn't he's not the first one to do it, but he only speaks to me if he wants something. Now, when I was doing my stream on, I believe it was Tuesday. It was either the Tuesday one or the Sunday one, the Saturday one. I had some guy who was like, "Oh, well, maybe employees are more focused on, doing their work than building friendships." And I was like, that's a nice way to spin it, but if your position, see, because managers are not just people who are supposed to be able to like perform the administrative task. They also are in charge of people, making sure you get your break, making sure you're doing whatever duty that you're assigned to do. And when you are incapable of establishing a basic rapport with the people that are under you, it really demonstrates that you're not that damn much of a leader. And I was saying that sure enough, I see this guy talk to the same two, three, four, five people, and he's giggling and smiling and laughing. So I know that this is not someone who has some kind of like extremely closed in personality where he's afraid to speak to people. No, it's certain people that he will acknowledge and again try to have a dialogue with, and others that are basically just ghost outside of when he wants them to do something, like when he's forced to speak to them. And it's really interesting just seeing again these people in these leadership positions who are almost afraid of those that are have no power over them, are literally just there to do a job. It's a really fascinating turn of phrase. One other aspect of his inadequate leadership, and he's not the only one that does this, to be fair, is that if you have a shift that's about 5 hours, right? They usually want you to get at least a break, and that tends to come somewhere at the halfway point, like 2.5 hours in during the second hour. I have seen multiple instances where these people will mark me off as having taken a break when I have not taken a break. And sometimes they won't send you to get one until 4 hours in, 4.5 hours in. Basically when it's damn near time to get up and leave the place altogether and clock out and just be finished for the rest of the day. And this is another one of these like shady, sleazy tactics they do, because some of them are just too lazy to get up and look and ask people, "Hey, did you take your break yet? Did you take your break yet?" So they'll just preemptively mark you off, and then I guess if they want to be confronted about not sending you to do the thing that they're required to send you to do, they will complain. They will otherwise then be like, "Oh yeah, now you can go on your break." Person that I wouldn't have sent if they didn't say anything. Oh man, and my favorite thing about the guy is that he loves to complain. And I'm fully aware that most of the time you have these people in these again administrative positions, they tend to be the biggest whiners of anyone, but I always keep track of like, okay, this one complains about this, that one complains about that. And sometimes there are, just if you're doing something wrong, you're going to see most of them say something about it. Like if you misplace something, for example. But this guy will. I mean, again, some examples because we're gonna. I'm not gonna speak in some abstract sense here. Um, I was cleaning, and I'm using this spray just to like get you with the water. Now it's established that when you're cleaning stuff, sometimes water will maybe splash a little bit on the wall. It gets places, and I am just performing my task. He comes over here. Oh, be careful! You got some water on this plate. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, one, if it's water on the plate, it's going to dry. But secondly, if you have something that is hanging right by where I'm spraying things, I feel like it's a pretty foregone conclusion that it might get wet. But if you don't want it to get wet, you can just put it somewhere else. Again, just the absurdity of it all. Um, Another example would be that he will sometimes, and again, this goes back to the whole thing of just constantly looking for something to whine about. Oh, did you make sure that this was clean? Did you make sure that was clean? It's so goofy because as someone who has now been there for almost an entire year, these are things that have been the way that they are since I started working there. So to like ask me if I did it is just a vote of like no confidence, like no actual belief in the ability of the people that work for you to retain something. Like I could completely understand if this was still during like my first couple of months, right? The pos because there are people that when they start working there, they make some mistake that the rest of us have to like take care of or pick up after. But if you know that someone's been there for a while, right, and they have not in the past done this thing or made this error, I just it all goes back to that same I don't believe in the people that work under me belief. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he would go and look at the security footage to ensure that I had done what he had wanted or expected, or I guess did not expect me to do. I should say. But yeah, he's just another example of these people that they get promoted because they know how to perform the task to I guess some satisfactory degree. But there's never a test on just basic personality traits that a leader needs to have. The ability to speak to the people that work for them, the this like timid nature, right? That they just seem to have for some reason with certain people. It's all like I don't get why these places hire and promote some of the characters that they do, but I guess the one thing I can say is that as they sink to the bottom, I won't be blamed for their lack of a proper commander.